Seems apparently a lot of people are asking Cherie questions and are asking her to ask me questions and all that kind of thing. So she came up with an idea of having a Q&A. So that's what we're going to do. Cherie's going to ask me a whole heap of your questions. She says she has some of her own. We might get the Galactic Larrikins involved because, let's face it, they always have questions, and if no questions, occasionally they have answers. So if you've got questions, I don't know, about Voice of Freedom or about me or whatever, email Cherie, SHEREE at VOFHQ.com. And we'll endeavour to try and do that one night this week. Might be Wednesday, might be Thursday, or maybe we do it as a free-for-all on Friday. Maybe that's the way we do it. All right, so if you've got questions, then Cherie at VOFHQ.com. Put your question in there and she'll ask it. Looking forward to having her on the show. I'm quite surprised that she agreed to do it, but we shall see. I'm looking forward to it. Don't know what sort of question she's got for me. Probably like, why don't you pick up your phone, or why don't you answer your emails? There might be a bit of that going on. At any rate, we will discuss that and more, maybe in the Friday free-for-all, but at least one night this week. It looks like None 2K is back up and working. So, yip yeah, that's great. However, we've learned our lesson. I really do think they are working very hard to get this channel down, None 2K particularly, and this little live is only going out on None 2K. So I suspect that they're going to be going back through old videos and stuff that is still up there. They're going to breach me for something, you know, medical misinformation or whatever. And they'll knock that one on the head. So the Rumble channel is still the way to go. G'day, Harry. That's going to be, I think, the way forward. And Rumble, of course, aren't censoring us, nor is Project Matilda. I just seem to be having trouble. Like last night's show, for instance, didn't go out on Project Matilda as planned. This is probably a problem with me, and I've got to talk to Daniel about what I'm doing wrong, because let's face it, it's not that hard. I've got to copy and paste a password. It's not a stream key. It's not difficult, but for some reason or other, I seem to be having trouble getting my stuff out on Project Matilda. Bit of a bummer. That'll be another question. Maybe you can ask why I'm so bad with technology. Don't know that I'll be able to give you much of an answer. So anyway, that's the idea. Cherie's going to sit down with me and, well, you know she's the boss, so I don't have much say in what she says or does. So that's the deal. Send her, if you have any questions of me, to Cherie at VOFHQ.com, SHEREE at VOFHQ.com. Fitz is on tonight, so 6:30 my time, Brisbane time, Australian Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 Daylight Savings Time for those folks in Melbourne or southern states that are working on the Eastern Daylight Savings Time schedule. Tonight we are Magna Carta lesson number 23, and we are talking morality and Article 61, just as a bit of a hint. So that's getting underway at 6:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time this evening. I'm also going to be getting in contact with Julian Gillespie, who unfortunately couldn't join us last week as planned. He had to rush to New Zealand, but I have a message into him. Hopefully he'll be able to join us one day this week, and we will have a bit of a discussion about the case that he's bringing toward the High Court regarding the injections going to our kids. He has some very interesting news there. A lot of people have been asking or emailed me that they cannot get a hold of Spiros's class action website. The website very definitely is working. It is up. I've been looking at it all day. We'll post a link to it on the voiceoffreedom.com, Voice of Freedom website, VOFHQ.com. But it is very easy to remember. peopleagainstcorruption.com.au. peopleagainstcorruption.com.au. Now, if you lost money during this last 2.5 years, 3 years plus of what the government's done. If that means if you lost a job, if you lost your business, if your business had to close down for a period, if it hasn't recovered, then you need to be registered. No, I haven't seen what Liverpool Council are doing. Send me some details. G'day, Scotty. So yeah, you want to register on that. So peopleagainstcorruption.com.au. Spiros is launching this class action. He said all writs will be filed in each state in February, I believe, February 1 of 2023. It doesn't matter what state you're in at the moment. All he needs from you at the moment is your name, I think a state, and an email address. And most importantly, he needs a dollar value of how much you have lost. It's hard to run a class action with people if they say, oh, I don't know how much I lost. So sit down and really think about what it's cost you if you are in that position. Now, if you, like me, lost a job out of it, then you can probably calculate that cost. But what about the ongoing cost of not being able to get a job because of your status? What about the mental health issues that have gone forward and you may have had to seek help for? There are all these other sorts of costs that have been applied to you in this period as well. So what has it really cost you? Then put that figure in the dollar sign area of that website, and he'll have a starting place for you, at least, when it comes to argue. Now, I've also seen questions about who is he going to actually sue with this. My belief is that it's government. Well, it's the same case that was run in VCAT. So that I'm pretty confident is health ministers and government bureaucrats, that kind of thing. There will be a separate case, I think, against corporations. But corporations will, cry that the government made them do it, so he's got to start at the government. So that'd be my understanding of how it would work anyway. Don't quote me on that, might be wrong. I'm not a lawyer, never have been. Don't give legal advice, that's not me. We will ask him back for more clarification on that, and we'll see how many folks he's managed to get lined up this week. I believe a lot of people have signed up in the last couple of days since the show went to air on Friday night. So if that's you, congratulations. But if it's not you, have a think about it. You really should be doing this. Get your name on it. What can it hurt? He's not going to spam you. He's not going to sell your email address off to somebody who will spam you. When he does communicate with you, it will be for a reason, and just to let you know where the case is going. And he said to me, both privately and in the show the other night, that he wants us at Voice of Freedom to play a greater role in that. In fact, if possible, broadcast it direct from the court. He's hearing direct from the court. Now, we would need permission to do that. The courts have their own cameras, so I don't think they're going to let us do that, but we might be able to take a feed from the court if this kind of thing is allowed. And of course, we'd be very happy to stream that. He's fighting for all of us, and he hopes to have 1 million people on that list. So, as he said, it's very easy for a court or a government to ignore one man. It's much more difficult for them to ignore 1 million people who have signed on to a class action. So if you haven't done so yet and you lost in this whole thing, then get onto it. Get onto it. peopleagainstcorruption.com.au. That's the one. Okay, so it was only going to be short. Here I am talking for 9 minutes so far. So that's the deal. We're going to have a Magna Carta 12:15 lesson tonight, 6:30 local time for me. And Cherie, God love her, is going to be asking me questions. So if you want to ask me a question, Cherie's got a pile of them there, so she can ask them. She said she's got a couple of her own. The Galactic Larrikins might get involved, and it doesn't have to be just about me. It can be about Voice of Freedom or what we want to try and achieve with Voice of Freedom, where we see this all going forward. These are all important questions, and you hold the answers to that. So I really hope that we can, together. I've got a direction I'd like to go, but at the end of the day, that requires your involvement. Can't do anything without the people. And if you're going to be involved, then you better have a say. So if you've got questions or you've got suggestions, maybe even, Cherie at vofhq.com. That's the email address to send those to. And one day this week, I suspect what we will do is make it the Friday free-for-all. And that way anything goes, and we'll fight our way on through that. Talk to you a little later on tonight, and Fitz and I will have lesson number 23 in the Magna Carta Learning Centre. I hope you're part of it. If you're not across Magna Carta 1215 yet, really ask yourself why. Go to vofhq.com and check out the Magna Carta 1215 page. There's a lot of resources there. And, of course, Fitz's Telegram page, which is immensely popular. Oh, God. And he's had a little bit of a rebranding, so you'll learn about that tonight too. There was something else I was going to mention. Oh, yes, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, the lovely Cass Smith is going to wobble her way to a chair, sit down and join us for another chat about finances and all things interesting at the moment. There's a lot of interesting things happening in the financial sector. There is also the gold and silver markets are doing what they do. Of course, she's got some news on self-managed super funds, and we'll get a bit of an update on how her foot's going. So looking forward to Cass joining us tomorrow night. That will be on the Voice of Freedom, 6:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Tomorrow, that'll be Tuesday, December the 6th. I think I've got the dates right. So look forward to seeing you for that one if you're not joining us for Magna Carta 1215. That's 7:30 tonight on the Voice of Freedom. Thanks for your support, folks. Talk to you soon.